is we cover Infosys interview question. So in 2022, I cracked the Infosys interview. While interviewing, they ask three JavaScript questions. This is basically is that right? So and there is five question from the Angular side. So I recruit for the Angular profile. They ask for five questions. So I in next video I cover the that five question, right? So please like and subscribe that channel, and please comment if you have any query related to this topic, right? So I would like to help you in that, right? So first question, you can see there is one function and there is one outer function and inner function. There is in a slice with count 0 and count plus 1 and here we calling that function, right? So what was the output for first output and second output, right? So I explained the line by line. First, after the calling like calling this outer function, right? So it will call outer function, right? So and while the returning it initialize by 0 and count plus plus, right? So what was the console of log value is going to be 1, right here. So due to closure concept, right? Because here the context like context variable, right? Due to closure concept is the execution in, but it will like preserve the value of 1, right? In that next call the output is be like 2, right? So the output is the 1 and 2, right? So let's check in the compiler. Let's open the JavaScript compiler and here, right? 1 and 2, right? Understood that point, right? So how they work, right? And the second question ask they like how does event delegation work in the JavaScript, right? So the event delegation is basically is that technique where the parent element listen to the like event on the its children, right? So they not give the example, I give you the example how it's work, right? So I make a two button, one and two, and in div I give the id of parents, right? So here you can see I make a document dot get element by id parent, right? Add listener, click event and function based on click, right? Button, right? It will button construct is called, right? So I tell you the line by line, right? How it's work, right? So you can see uh, event listener I make only one times, right? For two button, so that is a benefit for that you not make a separate event listener. Only one parent listener is enough for that, right? And when the click event occur inside the parent div, right? Inside the parent div the function is executed, right? So event object contain details of the including information of event dot target, right? So context content, right? So event the target is click and the tag is uppercase, right? Tag p tag, right? Only one click is element, right? So while the logging the text so based on the click it will verify like which button is click, right? Button 1 and button 2. So um, so what was the benefit of that? So instead of adding separate event listener for each button, right? So listener to parent element, right? Adding one only listener to parent element, right? And when the button inside the parent element click, even bubble up and parent even target identify exact element what the click, right? This technique efficient because avoid adding the multiple listener, right? Multiple listener. So that is a benefit for that. And code is simpler, only one listener is all the button inside that, right? And its work new button add the later, right? Its work also if you work like add any another three button, right? Button three, right? So you not needed not to make a separate, right? So if you make like 10,000 button, right? Then it's also work for that, right? and only one event list. That is benefit of the delegation, event delegation, right? That is a beautiful example for that, right? I tell you. The second question they ask, the timeout question, right? So the timeout question is basically you need to understand the event looping, right? So the synchronous code, a micro task, like mutation promises a mutation, micro task, set timeout, right? You need to understand that first, right? So first you can see the set timeout for the zero, right? This schedule micro task like timer callback run 0 millisecond, right? Millisecond the task. It does not execute immediately because it will not does execute immediately. Hmm? Does not execute immediately. Not ex- execute, right? It means not execute, right? And the first promise then, right? The first promise for that, right, is schedule a micro task since the micro task higher priority, right? Because this one has a higher priority, right? For this, right? So it will execute. It will execute based on the priority. It will execute, right? Execute, right? Because it is a higher priority, right? In the second timeout, right, the another Microsoft schedule, right, in second schedule another task which is timeout, right? So so what was the final output for that, right? So because it has the higher priority, so output was I tell you the output, right? Output, right? So let's say first it will come promise one, right? And after that we have promise two, right? Because promise two also has a higher priority, right? And then it will take time out one and time out one, and after that time out mm, two, right? So this is a sequence for that, right? You need to understand like what was the priority. First priority is promise one, right? And after that promises two, right? uh, to higher precedent, right? So it will work like this, right? Just check in the real time, right? Copy that code and run here, right? You can see promise one, promise two, time one and time out two, right? So similar, you can see output, right? Match the output, promise one, promise two, promise three, right? So this is basically a concept, right? This is a good concept you need to understand, right? How the concept base is work, right? How the execution is work, micro task, which micro task higher precedent, right? So this kind of question they ask, right? So be prepared for that, right? Before the micro task set timeout event set to be, right? It will run after micro task finish, right? It will run after the micro task limit event loop is process all micro tasks before the handle the micro task, right? So this is basically a good practice question, right? You need to understand, right? Please like and subscribe that channel, right? So I upload more conceptual similar kind of video. So and I have explanation of the video. So yeah, thanks everyone, right? Have a good day.